My parents didn't just skip my gift. They announced my sister's wedding fund at my graduation. Stanford Frost Amphitheater, June 12th. I just received my diploma, $140,000 in loans still crushing me. Then Mom stood during family recognition. We're so proud, and we've saved $185,000 for Hannah's wedding next year. She handed me an envelope. $25. Applause turned to silence. 4,000 people did the math in real time. Someone's iPhone caught Mom's face when she realized what she'd done. 2.1 million views by midnight. Her country club saw everything. Then Stanford Alumni Relations started calling. The email arrived at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday that changed everything. Congratulations, Sienna Reeves. We are pleased to offer you admission to Stanford University's Environmental Science program, with a full merit scholarship valued at $48,000 per year. I read it 17 times. Standing in my cramped apartment kitchen, wearing yesterday's clothes, phone screen blurring through tears. 4 years of 90-hour weeks, 3 part-time jobs, meals skipped to afford textbooks, it had all been worth it. My hands shook as I called Mom. "Hi, honey," her voice was flat, distracted. "I got in, Stanford, full scholarship." "Oh, that's nice, sweetie. Listen, I'm at the bridal boutique with Hannah. Can I call you back?" The line went dead before I could respond. I stared at my phone. That's nice. Like I'd told her about a sale at the grocery store. Hannah called 6 minutes later, screaming, "Oh my God, see? Stanford, that's incredible." At least someone cared. But the seed of doubt had already planted itself. That flat tone, the quick dismissal, the bridal boutique. I thought back to when I was 12. We'd been at the kitchen table, Mom helping me with algebra, Dad reading the newspaper. I'd asked them, nervous and hopeful, "When I do something really big one day, will you be there?" Dad had put down his paper. Mom had squeezed my hand. "Of course, Sienna," Dad had said. "We'll be there for every milestone, we promise." I'd believed them. But throughout high school, the pattern had been different. When I made honor roll freshman year, they'd been at Hannah's college orientation. When I won the state science fair sophomore year, they'd missed the ceremony for Hannah's sorority induction. Junior year, I'd been named team captain of the debate team. They'd stayed home because Hannah needed help moving into her new apartment. "We're so proud of you, Sienna," they'd always say afterward, voices warm but distant. "We just couldn't make it this time." By senior year, I'd learned to celebrate alone. My 17th birthday fell on a Wednesday. I'd gotten early acceptance to 3 universities. Mom had texted, "Happy birthday, sorry we can't do dinner tonight. Hannah's meeting her boyfriend's parents. Big night for her. We'll celebrate yours this weekend." We never did. Instead, that same week, they dethroned Hannah a congratulations on your new job party. 70 people. Catered food. A cake that cost more than my entire birthday budget for the year. I'd stood in the corner, holding a plastic plate, watching Dad give a toast about how proud he was of Hannah's marketing coordinator position at a mid-level firm. I'd just gotten into Stanford. No one mentioned it. The financial struggles started immediately after high school. Mom and Dad had been clear. "We believe in self-sufficiency, Sienna. You'll appreciate your education more if you pay for it yourself." I'd nodded, taken out loans, worked 3 jobs, campus library, weekend barista shift, Friday night tutoring. I'd survived on ramen and library air conditioning. Skipped meals to afford textbooks. Worn the same 3 outfits for 2 years. Meanwhile, Hannah had gotten a new car for her 25th birthday. A Honda Civic, $32,000. I'd taken the bus. By the time graduation approached, I'd accumulated $140,000 in student loans. My credit score barely existed. My savings account held $247. But I'd done it. 4 years, 3.9 GPA, published research paper on sustainable urban ecosystems, founded a campus environmental nonprofit that now had 300 members. I'd done it alone. 2 weeks before graduation, I sent the invitation via certified mail. 2 reserved seats. Section C, row 4, seats 12 and 13. I'd even included a handwritten note, "Please come, this means everything to me." Mom called the next day. Of course we'll be there, honey, wouldn't miss it. Something in her voice felt off, too bright, too rehearsed. But I pushed the feeling down. They promised. My parents are James and Patricia Reeves, both corporate lawyers, both workaholics, both experts at performative parenting. My sister Hannah is 3 years older, 27 to my 24, marketing coordinator at a tech startup. Pretty, charming, effortlessly likable. The kind of person people gravitate toward at parties. I'm the quiet one, the bookish one, the one who preferred our research papers to networking events. Birth order matters in our family. Hannah was the first grandchild, the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. I was the unexpected second, the surprise baby, the one who made things complicated. Throughout college, the pattern became undeniable. Freshman year, parent weekend in October. They promised to visit, tour the campus, meet my professors. The morning they were supposed to arrive, I got a text. Can't make it. Hannah's car broke down, need to help her get a new one. Next time. There was no next time. They missed all 4 parent weekends. Sophomore year, I won the Dean's Environmental Research Award. $2,500 prize, ceremony with the university president featured in the campus newspaper. I'd sent them the invitations 6 weeks in advance. The day of the ceremony, Dad called. Sienna, honey, we can't make it. Hannah's boyfriend is meeting us for the first time. It's a big deal for her. You understand, right? I'd said yes, collected my award alone, smiled for photos with no family present. Junior year, my birthday, 21, the big one, I'd asked for one thing, dinner together, just the 4 of us. Mom had sighed. Sweetie, Hannah's getting promoted next week. We're throwing her a celebration party that night. You're invited, obviously. We can do your birthday cake there. We didn't. The party was all about Hannah. My birthday wasn't mentioned once. That same year, I'd made the dean's list 3 semesters in a row. Published my first research paper in a peer-reviewed journal. Built the environmental nonprofit from 12 members to 300. Hannah had gotten a new job. Guess which one got the celebration dinner? Senior year hit differently. The weight of everything, loans, work, exhaustion, pressed down constantly. I was working 25 hours a week at the campus library, 10 hours weekend mornings at a coffee shop, and another 8 hours Friday nights tutoring high school students online. 43 hours a week, on top of 18 credit hours and thesis research. I lost 12 pounds that year, not on purpose. I just couldn't afford food and textbooks both. November, I'd needed $400. Emergency. My laptop had died during finals week, completely fried motherboard. I couldn't write my thesis without it. I'd called Dad, voice shaking. I know you don't usually help with money, but this is an emergency. I can pay you back by February. Sienna, honey, it's a really tight month for us. Christmas is coming up. Maybe ask your campus IT department about loaner laptops. I'd hung up, cried in the library bathroom for 20 minutes, then taken out another credit card I couldn't afford. That same week, I found out later from Hannah, they'd sent $15,000 to her wedding planner as a deposit. Tight month. By March, graduation was 8 weeks away. I'd ordered my cap and gown, paid the $65 fee myself, reserved 2 seats for my parents, Section C, row 4, seats 12 and 13. Perfect view of the stage. I'd sent the invitation certified mail, needed proof they'd received it. Mom's response came via text. Got it, looks beautiful. We're so proud of you, honey. See you there, read. I'd screenshot that message. Something told me I'd need it. Graduation morning started at 5:30 a.m. I stood in front of my bathroom mirror, wearing the navy blue dress I'd found at a thrift store for $18. Simple, professional, the best I could afford. My hands shook as I applied mascara. They'd be there. Mom had confirmed 3 times. This was different. This was Stanford. This was 4 years of hell paying off. They promised. I arrived at Stanford Frost Amphitheater at 8:45 a.m. The outdoor venue was already packed, families clustered around graduates, taking photos, hugging, crying happy tears. The ceremony started at 10:00 a.m. Over 4,000 people filled the curved stone seating, the stage framed by California oaks and rolling hills. I found section C, row 4, seats 12 and 13. Empty. Maybe they were running late, traffic, parking, it was fine. The processional began, 800 graduates in cardinal red robes walking to pomp and circumstance. I kept glancing back at those 2 seats. Still empty. My chest tightened. Around me, families waved, shouted names, held up signs. A mom 3 rows behind me was crying so hard her husband had to hold her steady. My row stayed empty. The dean gave his speech. The sun climbed higher, my throat felt like sandpaper. Then came the diplomas. They called us alphabetically. Sienna Marie Reeves, Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science, summa cum laude. I walked across that stage alone, accepted my diploma, smiled for the photographer. 4,000 people applauded. None of them were mine. I returned to my seat, legs numb, diploma clutched in shaking hands. Then came family recognition, a Stanford tradition where families could stand and be acknowledged. That's when I saw them. Mom and Dad, walking down the aisle, 40 minutes late, smiling like nothing was wrong. Relief flooded through me. They'd come, they made it. Mom reached my row, squeezed past 3 people, and sat down in seat 12. Dad took seat 13. Sorry we're late, honey, Mom whispered. Traffic was awful. I wanted to be angry, but they were here, that's what mattered. Then the dean announced, we now invite families to stand and share recognitions. Mom stood up, my heart swelled. She walked to the aisle microphone. Hello, everyone, I'm Patricia Reeves, Sienna's mother. Her voice echoed across 4,000 people. We're so incredibly proud of our daughter's achievement today. I smiled, finally. And we're also thrilled to announce that we've saved $185,000 for our eldest daughter Hannah's wedding next year. The amphitheater went silent. Mom reached into her purse and pulled out an envelope, handed it to me, still smiling brightly. For you, honey, congratulations. I opened it with numb fingers. A $25 Chipotle gift card. The family next to me stared. The mom's face shifted from confusion to horror. 4,000 people were doing the same math. $185,000 for Hannah's wedding. $25 for my Stanford graduation. The applause that should have followed Mom's announcement never came, just thick, suffocating silence. I sat frozen, gift card in hand, while families around me whispered and stared. Mom returned to her seat, smile finally faltering. What's wrong? Dad looked around at the silent crowd, face paling. The ceremony continued, but I didn't hear any of it. My ears rang, my vision tunneled. After the recessional, families flooded the lawn for photos. I stood near the stone wall, alone, watching everyone else celebrate. Mom and Dad approached. Sienna, honey, people are looking at us strangely, Mom said. Did we do something wrong? I couldn't speak. That's when I overheard them talking to another family, the Chens, whose daughter had graduated summa cum laude in engineering. Dad was saying, just relieved Hannah's venue deposit cleared yesterday. $40,000 is a lot to wire, but it's worth it for her big day. Yesterday. The deposit cleared yesterday. They'd had the money, tens of thousands of dollars, while I'd been taking out loans, skipping meals, working myself to exhaustion. And they'd announced it, here, at my graduation. To 4,000 witnesses. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in my cramped apartment, staring at the ceiling, replaying Dad's words over and over. Just relieved Hannah's venue deposit cleared yesterday, $40,000. Yesterday. The day before my graduation. I sat up in bed, heart pounding. If they'd wired $40,000 yesterday, that meant the money had been sitting in their account. Ready, available. While I'd been drowning in debt. While I'd been skipping meals. While I'd been working 43 hours a week on top of 18 credits. The math didn't make sense. Mom had said they'd saved $185,000 for Hannah's wedding. Saved, past tense, as in already accumulated. So how long had that money been sitting there? I grabbed my phone, 2:47 a.m. I opened the family shared Google Calendar, something Mom had set up years ago that we'd all forgotten about. I still had access. I scrolled back June, May, April. There, April 18th, Hannah venue tour, Meadowbrook Estate. 2 months ago. My chest tightened. I kept scrolling. March 22nd, Hannah cake tasting, Sweet Beginnings Bakery. March 9th, Hannah dress appointment, Bella's Bridal. February 14th, meeting with Hannah's wedding planner, initial consultation. February. 4 months before my graduation. 4 months while I was in the middle of my spring semester, working myself into the ground. I scrolled further back. January 31st, venue deposit discussion with Hannah. January 10th, Hannah engaged, celebration dinner. My hands started shaking. I pulled up my text messages, found the thread with Dad from November. Me, Dad, I really need help. My laptop died and I can't afford a new one. Can you loan me $400? I'll pay you back by February. Dad, Sienna honey, it's a really tight month for us. Christmas is coming up. Maybe ask your campus IT department. November. 2 months after Hannah got engaged. 2 months into wedding planning. Tight month. I opened my banking app, pulled up my loan disbursement history. The spring semester loan, $38,000, disbursed January 15th. The same month they'd had their venue deposit discussion with Hannah. The same month they'd told me they couldn't spare $400. My stomach turned. I opened my laptop, went to Meadowbrook Estate's website. Under their FAQ section, we require a non-refundable deposit of $40,000 to secure your date. This deposit must be paid within 48 hours of reservation and is required 12 months in advance of your event date. 12 months in advance. $40,000. Non-refundable. If Dad said the depose. It cleared yesterday. That meant they'd booked Hannah's venue a full year before her wedding. Which meant they'd been planning this, budgeting for this, saving for this for at least a year. Maybe longer. I thought about Mom's announcement, the way she'd said it so casually, so publicly. We've saved $185,000 for Hannah's wedding. Not we're saving, not we're planning to. Saved. It was already done. The money had been sitting there the whole time. While I'd been taking out loans, while I'd been working myself sick, while I'd been asking for help and being told no. They'd had nearly $200,000 set aside for Hannah. And they'd given me $25,000. I grabbed a notebook, started writing down dates. April 18th, Hannah's venue tour. March 22nd, cake tasting. March 9th, dress appointment. February 14th, wedding planner consultation. January 31st, venue deposit discussion. Every single one of those dates fell during my final semester, during the hardest 4 months of my entire college career. And they hadn't mentioned any of it. Not once. I opened my email, searched for messages from Mom and Dad during those months. January 20th, hi honey, hope classes are going well, talk soon. February 8th, thinking of you, how's the thesis coming? March 15th, can't wait for graduation, so proud of you. Normal, supportive, loving. Not a single mention of Hannah's wedding. Not a single mention of venue tour, dress fittings, or $185,000. They'd kept it secret. Why? I stared at my laptop screen, at the Meadowbrook Estate website still open. Then I saw it. At the bottom of the page, a small line of text. Payment plans available through Venmo or Zelle for your convenience. Venmo. I opened the app on my phone. I was still connected to the family account, something we'd set up years ago for splitting dinner bills and groceries. I scrolled through Mom and Dad's transaction history, and my blood ran cold. The coffee shop near campus opened at 6:00 a.m. I was there at 6:02. Laptop open, Venmo app pulled up, hands shaking so badly I could barely hold my cup. I'd seen it last night, just a glimpse, just enough to know. Now I needed to see everything. Mom's Venmo history loaded slowly, transaction after transaction, months of payments. I started scrolling. June 10th, 2 days before graduation. Payment to Meadowbrook Estate Events, $40,000. Venue deposit, Hannah's Big Day, ring. $40,000. I kept scrolling. May 28th. Payment to Elegant Affairs Catering, $12,500. Tasting menu deposit for Hannah's wedding, so excited. May 15th. Payment to Captured Moments Photography, $8,200. Photographer secured, Hannah's going to look stunning. My stomach churned. May 1st. Payment to Bella's Bridal Boutique, $6,800. Final alterations for Hannah's dress, can't wait to see her walk down the aisle. I grabbed my notebook, started writing down every amount. April 22nd, $4,200, florist deposit. April 10th, $3,800, DJ and entertainment. March 30th, $5,500, invitations and printing. March 18th, $2,900, hair and makeup trial. The list went on. And on. I scrolled faster, going back further. February. January. December. The payments didn't stop. November 19th, $15,000. Payment to Hannah's Dream Wedding LLC, wedding planner retainer. November. The same month I'd asked Dad for $400. The same month he'd said it was a really tight month. He'd sent $15,000 to a wedding planner 6 days later. My vision blurred. I kept scrolling. October 14th, $8,900, venue site visit and consultation fee. September 22nd, $6,400, engagement party expenses. August 31st, $11,200, bridal shower planning deposit. Every single month, for over a year. Payments to wedding vendors, event planners, boutiques, caterers. I opened my calculator app. Started adding. $40,000, $12,500, $8,200, $6,800, $4,200, $3,800, $5,500, $2,900, $15,000, $8,900, $6,400, $11,200. My fingers moved faster. The total climbed. $125,400. I wasn't even done. I kept scrolling, kept adding. July, $9,800, rehearsal dinner venue deposit. June, $7,300, wedding cake deposit. May, a year ago, $10,500, save the date cards and website design. April, a year ago, $12,000, destination bachelorette party planning. The number kept growing. $165,000. $172,000. $178,400. I stopped. Stared at my phone screen. $178,400. 47 Venmo transactions over 14 months. All for Hannah's wedding. My coffee had gone cold, I didn't notice. I pulled up my student loan account. Total borrowed, $140,000. Current balance with interest, $164,000. They spent more on Hannah's wedding than my entire Stanford education cost. And they'd done it while I was in school. While I was asking for help. While I was being told no. I opened my text messages, scrolled back to January. Me, Dad, I really need help. My laptop died and I can't afford a new one. Can you loan me $400? Dad, it's a really tight month for us. I checked the date, January 22nd. I went back to Venmo. January 28th. 6 days later. Payment to Hannah's Dream Wedding LLC, $15,000. Second installment for wedding planner, everything's coming together. Tight month. I pulled up another text thread. March 9th. Me, Mom, I'm really struggling with tuition this semester. I'm $2,400 short and financial aid won't cover it. Can you help? I'll pay you back this summer. Mom, honey, we just don't have that kind of money right now. Have you tried talking to your advisor about a payment plan? March 9th. I checked Venmo. March 2nd, 1 week before my text. Payment to Bella's Bridal Boutique, $6,800. Hannah's dress alterations. She's going to be the most beautiful bride. Didn't have that kind of money. My hands were shaking so hard, I had to set my phone down. The barista walked past. "You okay?" I nodded, couldn't speak. She left a glass of water on my table. I sat there, staring at the numbers. 47 transactions. 14 months. $178,400. Every single payment made while I was drowning. Every single payment made during my junior and senior years. While I was working 3 jobs. While I was skipping meals. While I was crying in library bathrooms because I couldn't afford textbooks. They'd had the money the whole time. They'd just decided I wasn't worth it. I took a screenshot of every transaction, every single one. Saved them to a folder labeled evidence. Then I opened my laptop. Created a spreadsheet. Date, vendor, amount, my situation at that time. Row after row after row. November 19th, $15,000 to wedding planner. My request for $400 laptop help denied 6 days earlier. January 28th, $15,000 to wedding planner. Second payment. Same month I took out $38,000 in loans. March 2nd, $6,800 to bridal boutique. 1 week before I begged for $2,400 tuition help. May 28th, $12,500 to catering. 2 weeks before my graduation. June 10th, $40,000 venue deposit. 2 days before my graduation. The pattern was undeniable. Every time I'd asked for help, they'd said no. And then they'd spent thousands on Hannah. I sat back in my chair. The coffee shop had filled up around me. Students ordering lattes, laughing, studying for summer classes. Normal life. My life had just imploded. And I had the receipts to prove it. For 14 months, they'd been lying to me. 14 months. I sat on my apartment floor that evening, laptop open, spreadsheet glowing in the dark. Not just lying by omission, active, deliberate lies. I pulled up my Google Calendar, started cross-referencing the Venmo dates with my own life. The pattern wasn't just financial. It was everything. November 19th, the day Dad sent $15,000 to the wedding planner. I checked my calendar. November 19th, research presentation, Environmental Sciences Building, 3:00 p.m. Mom and Dad confirmed attending. I opened my text messages from that day. Mom, 2:47 p.m. Honey, I'm so sorry. Something came up at work. We can't make it to your presentation. We'll make the next one. Something came up at work. I went back to Facebook, searched Mom's profile, scrolled to November. There, a photo posted November 19th at 4:32 p.m. Mom, Dad, and Hannah at a restaurant, smiling, champagne glasses raised. Caption, celebrating the start of Hannah's wedding planning journey. So excited for our girl, clinking ring. Posted 1 hour after my presentation. They hadn't been at work. They'd been at a celebratory lunch with Hannah. While I'd presented my research to an empty auditorium seat where they should have been. My chest tightened. I kept searching. January 22nd, the day I'd asked for laptop money. I checked my calendar. Nothing scheduled. But I remembered that week. I remembered it clearly. I'd called Mom crying, told her my laptop had died during finals week, told her I couldn't write my thesis without it. She sighed, "Sienna, honey, we just can't right now. It's a tight month. Christmas was expensive." I went to Facebook again. January 24th, 2 days after that call. Dad's post, a photo of Hannah holding a binder, huge smile. Caption, our beautiful daughter met with her wedding planner today. This is going to be the event of the year. So proud. Tight month. I grabbed my notebook, started a new list. Times they chose Hannah over me, with proof. November 19th, missed my research presentation, said work emergency. Really, wedding planning celebration lunch with Hannah, sent $15,000 to wedding planner same day. January 22nd, refused $400 for broken laptop, said tight month. Sent $15,000 to wedding planner 6 days later. Posted about wedding planning on Facebook. I kept going. March 9th, the day I'd begged for tuition help. I checked my calendar. March 9th, Mom helping me move apartments 10:00 a.m. She de-canceled that morning. Text from Mom 9:14 a.m. So sorry, sweetie, something urgent came up. Can your roommate help instead? Something urgent. Facebook. March 9th, 11:47 a.m. Mom's post, photo at Bella's bridal boutique. Hannah in a white dress, Mom crying happy tears. Caption, she said yes to the dress. I can. T stop crying, my baby girl is getting married. 2 hearts. Timestamp, 11:47 a.m. 1 hour after she'd canceled helping me move. She hadn't had something urgent. She'd chosen Hannah's dress fitting and spent $6,800 on alterations a week earlier, while telling me she didn't have $2,400 for my tuition. My hands were shaking again. April 10th. I search my messages. Me, April 10th. Mom, can you come to my thesis defense next week? It's the biggest presentation of my college career. Mom, I'll try, honey. We've got a lot going on, I'll let you know. April 18th, thesis defense day. They didn't come. Mom's text, April 18th, 2:03 p.m. So sorry, Sienna, we couldn't make it. Work has been crazy. Congratulations, though, we're so proud. Work has been crazy. Facebook, April 18th. Dad's post, 3:27 p.m. Photo of a grand estate with sprawling gardens. Caption, toured Hannah's potential wedding venue today, Meadowbrook Estate. Absolutely stunning. She deserves nothing but the best. My thesis defense had been at 2:00 p.m. They'd been touring wedding venues, while I was presenting 4 years of research to an audience that didn't include my parents. Again, I grabbed my phone, took screenshots of every Facebook post. November 19th, January 24th, March 9th, April 18th. Saved them all in the evidence folder. Then I went back further. October. September. August. My birthday, August 14th. I'd turned 24, senior year starting in 2 weeks. I'd asked for one thing, dinner together, just the 4 of us. Mom had said, honey, we're throwing Hannah's engagement party that night. You're invited, obviously. We'll do your birthday another time. We never did. I searched Facebook. August 14th. Album titled, Hannah's Engagement Party, Party Popper. 63 photos, catered food, string lights, a cake that cost more than my monthly rent. Not a single photo mentioned my birthday. Not one. I scrolled through the comments. Everyone congratulating Hannah. No one wishing me happy birthday. Because no one knew it was my birthday. My own parents had erased me. I closed my laptop. Sat in the dark. For 14 months, from May a year ago through June this year, every major moment of my life had been overshadowed by Hannah's wedding. Every request for help denied. Every promise to attend broken. Every milestone missed. And they documented it all on social media. Smiling, celebrating, posting about how proud they were of Hannah. While I was invisible, I thought about graduation day, about Mom's announcement. We've saved $185,000 for Hannah's wedding. She'd been so proud, so excited to share it. In front of 4,000 people. At my graduation. It hadn't been an accident. It had been a declaration. Hannah mattered, I didn't. And now I had 14 months of proof. 47 Venmo transactions. 8 Facebook posts. 12 missed events. 4 broken promises. I opened my laptop one more time. Pulled up the spreadsheet. Titled it, Timeline of Financial Abandonment. Then I added a subtitle, 14 months, $178,400, $0 for me. I sat back, stared at the screen, and made a decision. They wanted to make this public. Fine. I'd show them what public really looked like. I called Priya at 9:47 p.m. She answered on the second ring, "See, you okay?" Can you come over? I'll be there in 10. She arrived in 8. I opened the door. She took one look at my face and pulled me into a hug. What happened? I led her to my living room. My laptop was still open on the coffee table, spreadsheet glowing. Phone next to it, Venmo screenshots displayed. Priya sat down, started reading. Her expression shifted from confusion to horror. Wait, she said slowly. They spent $178,000 on Hannah's wedding while you were in college. I nodded. While you were taking out loans? Yes. While you were working 3 jobs? Yes. She scrolled through the Venmo transactions. Her jaw tightened. Sienna, she stopped, looked at me, this is financial abuse. The words hit me like cold water. What? This is abuse. Priya's voice was firm. She's pre-law, headed to Yale in the fall. She knows these things. They had resources. They withheld them deliberately. They gaslit you about having money while spending it on your sister. That's financial abuse. I sat down heavily. The same month you asked for textbook money, Priya continued, reading the spreadsheet, they sent $15,000 to a wedding planner. 6 days later. Jesus, she kept scrolling. And here, March, you needed tuition money. They said they didn't have it. Then spent $6,800 on Hannah's dress alterations a week before. Priya looked up at me. You need to document everything, every single thing. I already started. I gestured to the laptop. That's 14 months of Venmo transactions. I have Facebook posts too, text messages, calendar entries. Good, she pulled out her phone. My cousin's a lawyer, family law, I'm calling her right now. Priya, it's almost 10. Essay. I'll answer. Priya dialed, put it on speaker. A woman's voice answered, groggy. Priya, it's late. Aunt Lisa, I'm sorry, but this is important. My roommate just discovered her parents spent $178,000 on her sister's wedding while she was taking out student loans. They denied her help repeatedly while actively spending money on the sister. Is that actionable? Silence. Then put her on. I leaned toward the phone. Hi. Hi, honey, I'm Lisa Chen. Tell me what happened. I told her the graduation announcement, the Venmo receipts, the missed events, the lies. She was quiet for a long moment. How old are you? 24. So you were an adult during all of this? Yes, junior and senior year of college. Another pause. Okay, here's the reality. Because you were an adult, this isn't criminal neglect. Parents aren't legally required to support adult children financially. My stomach sank. But, Lisa continued, that doesn't make it okay. Morally, this is reprehensible, and legally, you have options. What options? You could pursue a civil lawsuit for emotional distress, though those are hard to win and expensive to file. Or, she paused, you could document everything and use it as leverage for public accountability. Public accountability. Family dynamics often respond better to social pressure than legal pressure. If you have proof, and you make it visible to the people whose opinions they care about, that can be more effective than a courtroom. I looked at Priya, she was nodding. I want to document everything, I said. What do I need? Everything you've already got. Financial records, texts, emails, calendar entries, photos if you have them, anything that shows the pattern. Then you decide what to do with it. Can I come see you, in person? Yes, I'm in San Francisco. Call my office Monday. We'll set up a consultation. Thank you. Honey, Lisa's voice softened. What they did to you is wrong. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I hung up. Sat there. Priya squeezed my hand. You're not overreacting, she said quietly. You know that, right? I nodded, couldn't speak. This is serious, and you're not alone. I feel alone. You're not, she pulled up her calendar. Monday, we're going to that lawyer's office together, and we're going to figure out what to do next. I looked at my laptop, at the spreadsheet, at 14 months of betrayal laid out in numbers. Okay, I whispered. Okay. 3 days later, Priya and I sat in a 14th floor conference room in downtown San Francisco. Lisa Chen was 43, sharp-eyed, with a no-nonsense demeanor that made me feel both terrified and safe. She'd printed out my spreadsheet. It sat between us on the glass table. "Walk me through this," she said. I did every detail: the graduation announcement, the $25 gift card, the Venmo transactions, the missed events, the lies about tight months. Lisa took notes, didn't interrupt. When I finished, she sat back. "How much do you currently owe in student loans?" $140,000. With interest, it's $164,000 now. She wrote that down. "And your parents spent $178,000 on your sister's wedding during the time you were accumulating that debt." "Yes." "Did they ever explicitly promise to help you financially?" I thought back. When I was 12, they promised they'd be there for every milestone. They said they'd support me. "Verbally?" "Yes." "Any written proof?" I shook my head. Lisa sighed. "Okay, here's the legal reality. Verbal promises to a minor about future support aren't legally binding. And because you were an adult during the time period in question, they had no legal obligation to support you financially." My chest tightened. "That said," Lisa continued, "what they did is morally reprehensible, and you do have options." "What options?" She ticked them off on her fingers. Option 1, civil lawsuit for emotional distress or intentional infliction of emotional harm. This is difficult to prove, expensive to pursue. We're talking $25,000 in legal fees minimum, and the success rate is low. It could take 18 months to 2 years, and even if you win, monetary damages would be minimal. I nodded. Option 2, restraining order if they harass you after you distance yourself. That's a protective measure for the future, not a punishment for the past. And option 3, public documentation. Lisa leaned forward. "You have proof. Extensive, detailed proof. If you choose to share that proof with people whose opinions matter to your parents, family members, friends, their social circle, you create accountability outside the legal system." "Is that legal?" "Absolutely. You're not sharing false information. You're not harassing them. You're simply showing people the truth." Priya spoke up. Would that hold up if they tried to sue her for defamation? If everything she's showing is factual and provable, yes, truth is an absolute defense against defamation. Lisa looked at me. "Do you have proof for every claim you'd make?" "Yes, Venmo receipts, text messages, Facebook posts, calendar entries." "Then you're protected." I sat with that for a moment. "What would you recommend?" Lisa was quiet for a beat. "Honestly, given the costs and low success rate of litigation, I'd recommend documentation and strategic exposure. But that's not a legal strategy, that's a personal one. You'd be making them accountable to their community, not to a court." Would that work? In my experience, family dynamics respond to social pressure. If their friends, their church, their colleagues see what they did, that often creates more meaningful consequences than a lawsuit ever would. She slid a business card across the table. "If they harass you after any confrontation, call me immediately. We'll file for a restraining order. That's a legal protection I can give you." "How much would that cost?" "If it's based on documented harassment, around $3,000, and it would be granted quickly, probably within a week." I picked up the card. "What do I do now?" "Organize everything. Every receipt, every text, every photo. Build a timeline, make it airtight. And then you decide what you want to do with it." I looked at Priya. She nodded. "Okay," I said, "I'll build the case." Lisa smiled slightly. "You already have, now you just need to present it." I spent the next 2 weeks building an airtight case. Not a legal case, a moral one. I started with the Venmo transactions, all 47 of them. I took screenshots, organized them by date, highlighted the amounts. Created a PDF, financial timeline, May to June, 14 months. Every payment, every vendor, every dollar. Then I pulled my own financial records. Student loan disbursements, credit card statements, bank account balances showing $87 in checking during finals week, a overdraft notice from March. I put them side by side with Mom and Dad's Venmo payments. January 15th, my loan disbursement $38, $15,000 borrowed. January 28th, their payment to wedding planner, $15,000 spent. March 2nd, their payment for Hannah's dress, $6,800 spent. March 9th, my text begging for $2,400 tuition help, denied. The contrast was damning. Next, text messages. I scrolled through 2 years of conversations with mom and dad. Screenshot every time I'd asked for help. November, can you loan me $400 for a laptop? Dad's response, it's a tight month. January, I'm $2,400 short for tuition. Can you help? Mom's response, we just don't have that kind of money right now. April, can you come to my thesis defense? Mom's response, we'll try, we've got a lot going on. Every denial, every excuse, every broken promise. I saved them all. Then Facebook. I went through mom and dad's profiles, downloaded every post about Hannah's wedding. November 19th, celebrating the start of Hannah's wedding planning journey. Posted the same day, they missed my research presentation. March 9th, she said yes to the dress. Posted the same day, they canceled helping me move. April 18th, toured Hannah's wedding venue today. Posted during my thesis defense. I created a document, split screen format. Left side my life, right side, their posts about Hannah. The juxtaposition was brutal. My calendar was next. I exported 2 years of entries, highlighted every event they'd promised to attend and then missed. November 19th, research presentation confirmed then canceled. April 18th, thesis defense, will try, never showed. May 3rd, awards ceremony, didn't respond to invitation. June 12th, graduation, showed up late, made announcement about Hannah. 12 major events, they'd missed 11. The only one they'd attended, they'd turned into Hannah's moment. I pulled my credit report. $164,000 in student loan debt. Credit score, 680, dragged down by high utilization during college. I added it to the file. Then I did something that made my hands shake. I checked my email, found the graduation program from Stanford. Section C, row 4, seats 1213. Patricia Reeves, James Reeves. Reserved seats, paid for, empty for most of the ceremony. I'd taken a photo that day. I didn't remember doing it, but I had. My phone's camera roll from June 12th. There they were, 2 empty seats. My purse on one, saving them, the ceremony happening around me. I printed the photo. Added it to the file. By the end of 2 weeks, I had a 47-page document. Title page, Timeline of Financial Abandonment. 14 months, $178,400, 0 for me. Section 1, Financial Evidence, Venmo receipts, loan statements, bank records. Section 2, Communication Evidence, texts, emails, unanswered messages. Section 3, Social Media Evidence, Facebook posts with timestamps. Section 4, Event Timeline, missed presentations, defenses, ceremonies. Section 5, Graduation Day photos, program, announcement transcript. I printed 3 copies, saved it to a USB drive, backed it up to 3 different cloud services. Then I told 3 more people. My thesis advisor, PR. Professor Mitchell, she'd been at my defense, the one my parents missed. Sienna, I'm so sorry, she said when I showed her. I remember that day, you presented brilliantly. I didn't realize your family wasn't there by choice. They were at a wedding venue tour. Her face hardened. This is unacceptable. Uncle Richard, Dad's younger brother. I'd always been closer to him than my parents. I met him for coffee, showed him the spreadsheet. He stared at it for a full minute. Your father did this. Him and Mom, both. James knows better than this. Uncle Richard looked up at me. I'm sorry, Sienna. If I'd known, I would have helped. I know. He hugged me. Whatever you're planning, I'm on your side. And Grandmother Rose, Dad's mother. She came to my apartment, sat on my couch, read through the entire document. When she finished, her hands were trembling. This is my son. Yes, Grandma. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. You deserved better. I know. What are you going to do? I took a breath. Hannah's engagement party is in 2 weeks. August 12th, at the country club, Mom and Dad invited me. Grandma Rose's eyes widened. You're going to confront them. Publicly, with evidence, in front of everyone they know. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. Good, she said firmly. They need to be held accountable. Will you come? I'll be there, and Sienna, she squeezed my hand, I'll stand with you. By the time August 12th approached, I had 47 pages of evidence, 3 printed copies, 1 USB drive, 4 allies, Priya, Professor Mitchell, Uncle Richard, Grandma Rose, and a navy blue dress, the same one I'd worn to graduation. I was ready. I circled the date on my calendar with red marker. August 12th. Hannah's engagement party. Meadowbrook Country Club, the same country club where Mom and Dad were members. The same one where they'd said hosting my graduation brunch would be too expensive. Hannah had called 2 weeks earlier, voice bright and excited. See, I really want you there. I know things have been weird, but you're my sister. Please come. I'd said yes. Hannah didn't know. She wasn't part of this. She'd been used as much as I'd been hurt. But Mom and Dad would be there. And so would everyone they knew. I finalized the evidence that week. The 47-page document was printed and bound. 3 copies. Clean, professional, undeniable. I created a 4th version, a summary, 10 pages, the highlights, easy to read quickly. Key Venmo transactions with dates and amounts. Side-by-side comparisons of their Facebook posts and my missed events. Text messages where I'd asked for help and been denied. The photo of the empty graduation seats. I made 20 copies of the summary. Priya came over the night before. You sure about this? She asked, sitting on my bed while I organized the folders. I'm sure. It's going to be brutal for them, for Hannah, for everyone there. I know. Once you do this, there's no going back. I looked at her. They made this public at my graduation, in front of 4,000 people. I'm just returning the favor. She nodded slowly. Okay, I'll be there, right by the exit like we planned. Uncle Richard had confirmed that morning. I'll be there, Sienna, front and center. Grandma Rose had called that afternoon. I'm bringing Aunt Monica. We're sitting near you. Whatever happens, you're not alone. Professor Mitchell had sent an email. I can't attend, but I'm with you in spirit. You deserve this moment. 4 allies. 20 evidence packets. 1 navy blue dress. I tried on the dress that evening. The same $18 thrift store find I'd worn to graduation. It fit differently now. Not like armor I was hiding behind. Like armor I was wielding. I rehearsed the speech in my mirror. Once, twice, 10 times. My hands shook the first few tries. By the 10th, they were steady. I knew what I needed to say. I knew how I'd say it. I knew they'd try to stop me. I knew I wouldn't let them. That night, I barely slept. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about 12-year-old me. The girl who'd asked, will you be there for every milestone? The girl who'd believed them when they'd said yes. I thought about 4 years of college, of working 3 jobs, of skipped meals and library breakdowns and choosing between textbooks and food. I thought about graduation day. Empty seats, $25, $185,000 for Hannah's wedding. 4,000 witnesses. Now it was my turn. Tomorrow, there would be 200 more. And this time, I'd be the one with the microphone. The day before the party, Mom called. Sienna, hi honey. Her voice was bright, cheerful, oblivious. Hi Mom. Just wanted to confirm you're coming tomorrow. Hannah's so excited you'll be there. I'll be there. Wonderful, it's going to be such a beautiful event. We've put so much thought into every detail. My jaw tightened. I'm sure you have. The venue is stunning. The food is catered B. Why that French place downtown? You know, the one we love. And the decorations, wait until you see them. I closed my eyes. How much did it cost? Oh, you know, these things add up, but Hannah deserves the best. This is her special day. Right. We'll see you tomorrow at 2. Wear something nice. She hung up. I sat there, phone in my hand, rage simmering in my chest. We've put so much thought into every detail. For Hannah, always for Hannah. Priya texted that evening, "You ready?" Me, as ready as I'll ever be. Priya, I'm proud of you. See you tomorrow. Uncle Richard called at 9 p.m. Sienna, I just want you to know, whatever happens tomorrow, I support you. Your father is my brother, but what he did was wrong. Thanks, Uncle Richard. And if he tries to spin this afterward, I'll set the record straight. You have my word. Grandma Rose sent a text at 10. Sleep well, sweetheart. Tomorrow we hold them accountable. I love you. I didn't sleep well. I was awake at 5 a.m. Made coffee, stared at the folders on my kitchen table. 47 pages, 20 summary packets, 1 USB drive backup. By noon, I was dressed. Navy blue dress, simple makeup, hair pulled back. I looked in the mirror. I looked strong. I looked ready. Priya picked me up at 1:15. You okay? She asked as I got in the car. No, but I'm doing this anyway. She squeezed my hand. We drove to Meadowbrook Country Club in silence. The venue was stunning. Grand stone architecture, sweeping gardens, a terrace overlooking a lake. Exactly the kind of place they'd said was too expensive for my graduation brunch. Cars filled the parking lot, expensive cars, Audis, BMWs, Mercedes. Mom and Dad's social circle. We walked in at 1:50 p.m. The ballroom was decorated with white and gold, string lights, floral centerpieces, a champagne tower at the entrance. Over 200 people, maybe 212, based on the seating chart by the door. Hannah stood near the entrance, radiant in a cream-colored dress, greeting guests. She saw me and lit up. See, you came. She hugged me, I hugged her back. You look beautiful, Han. Thank you, I'm so glad you're here. Mom appeared behind her, smiling wide. Sienna, honey, you made it. She hugged me, I stood stiff. Dad was next. Good to see you, kiddo. Kiddo? I smiled tightly, wouldn't miss it. They moved on to greet other guests. I found my seat, table 7, near the center of the room. Priya sat down next to me. They have no idea, do they? None. Uncle Richard arrived at 2:05. He caught my eye from across the room, nodded once. Grandma Rose and Aunt Monica came in at 2:10. Grandma sat at the table next to mine, close enough to reach me. The room filled, laughter, champagne clinking, music playing softly. Mom and Dad stood at the front, smiling, greeting everyone. Hannah's fiancé gave a toast, sweet, heartfelt. Then Mom stood up. I'd like to say a few words, she announced, holding a microphone. The room quieted. Thank you all so much for being here today to celebrate Hannah and Michael. We're so blessed to have such wonderful family and friends. Applause. We've been planning this wedding for over a year now, and let me tell you, it's been a labor of love. She laughed, the crowd laughed with her. We've spared no expense to make sure Hannah's big day is absolutely perfect, because that's what she deserves. More applause. I reached down, pulled the folder out of my bag. Mom continued talking, something about the venue, the caterer, how excited they were. I stopped listening. I stood up. The room's attention shifted toward me. Mom paused mid-sentence. Oh, Sienna, did you want to say something, honey? I walked toward the front of the room. Every eye followed me. I took the microphone from Mom's hand. She looked confused. Honey. I turned to face 212 people. And I began. The room goes silent. 212 people stare at me. I open the folder. I'd like to say something about my parents' generosity. Mom's smile falters. Sienna, what are you? For the past 14 months, they've been planning Hannah's wedding. They've spent $178,400. I hold up the first page, Venmo transactions highlighted in yellow. 47 payments, 14 months, all documented. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Dad steps forward. Sienna, this isn't the time. You made it the time, I say, voice steady. At my graduation, in front of 4,000 people. Remember. Mom's face drains of color. June 12th, Stanford graduation. You stood up during family recognition and announced you, D, saved $185,000 for Hannah's wedding. I pull out the next page, the photo of empty graduation seats. These were your seats. Section C, row 4, seats 12 and 13. You showed up 40 minutes late, then you handed me this. I hold up the Chipotle gift card. $25. Someone in the crowd gasps. While Hannah got $185,000, I got this. Hannah's hand is over her mouth. She's staring at Mom and Dad. I turn to the crowd. But it gets better. Let me tell you about the 14 months before graduation. I flip to the next page. November 19th. I asked Dad for $400. My laptop died during finals. I couldn't write my thesis. I read from the text message. Dad said, "It's a really tight month for us." I pause. 6 days later, he sent $15,000 to Hannah's wedding planner. The room erupts in whispers. Tight month. Dad tries to speak. We were going to help you after. After what? I cut him off. After the wedding, let's talk about January. I hold up the next document. January 15th. My student loan disbursed. $38,000 borrowed. Same month, you sent another $15,000 to the wedding planner. January 22nd. I called you, crying, asking for help. I read Mom's text response. We just don't have that kind of money right now. Didn't have it. You spent $15,000 on a wedding planner 13 days later. Uncle Richard stands up in the crowd. His face is hard. He's staring at Dad. March 9th, I continue. I needed $2,400 for tuition. I was short. Financial aid wouldn't cover it. I show the text thread. Mom said, "We just don't have that kind of money right now. Have you tried a payment plan?" I flip to the next page. March 2nd, 1 week before I begged for tuition money, you spent $6,800 on Hannah's dress alterations. Mom tries to speak. Honey, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. I pull out the spreadsheet, the full timeline. For 14 months, every time I asked for help, you said no, and then you spent thousands on Hannah. I walk toward Mom and Dad. They back up slightly. November, you missed my research presentation, said it was a work emergency. Really, you were celebrating Hannah's wedding planning over champagne. I hold up the Facebook photo. Mom, Dad, Hannah, champagne glasses raised. Posted the same day, 1 hour after my presentation. Grandma Rose stands up. Her voice cuts through the room. James, Patricia, is this true? Dad won't look at her. April 18th, I continue. My thesis defense, the biggest presentation of my college career, you said you'd try to come. I pull out another Facebook post. You didn't come, you were touring wedding venues. Dad posted about it. Hannah's potential wedding venue, absolutely stunning. Posted at 3:27 p.m. My thesis defense was at 2:00 p.m. Hannah is crying now. Mom, Dad, you missed Sienna's thesis defense for my venue tour. They don't answer. I turn back to the crowd. I worked 43 hours a week during college, 3 jobs. I skipped meals to afford textbooks. I lost 12 pounds my senior year because I couldn't afford food and rent both. My voice shakes, but I don't stop. I have $164,000 in student loan debt. My credit score barely exists. I'm 24 years old and I'm drowning. I hold up the loan statement. They spent more on Hannah's wedding than my entire Stanford education cost. And they did it while I was begging for help. Mom's crying now. We were going to help you later. When, I shout, when exactly? You had 14 months to help me. You chose not to. I pull out the lawyer's business card. My attorney confirmed, what you did isn't illegal. Because I'm an adult, you had no legal obligation to help me. I pause. But it is morally reprehensible. Those are her exact words. Dad finally speaks. This is a private family matter. You made it public. My voice echoes through the ballroom. At my graduation, you announced Hannah's wedding fund to 4,000 strangers. I'm just returning the favor. Now 212 people know exactly who you are. I turn to Hannah. Han, I'm sorry. This isn't about you. You didn't know. She's sobbing. I didn't see. I swear I didn't know they were refusing to help you." I believe her. I turn back to Mom and Dad. I'm done. I'm done pretending this is normal. I'm done being invisible. I drop the folder on the gift table. Here's the evidence: 14 months, 47 transactions, every lie, every broken promise, it's all there. I pull a USB drive from my purse. And this is a backup, in case anyone wants to verify. The room is dead silent. I look at Mom one last time. "You spent $178,400 on Hannah's wedding. You gave me $25. You chose her every single time." I hand the microphone to a frozen guest nearby. Turn toward the exit. Priya's already there, holding the door. Uncle Richard stands, walks over to Dad, says something I can't hear. Dad's face crumbles. Grandma Rose follows me out. Behind me, chaos erupts. People shouting, Hannah crying, Mom's voice rising above it all. She's exaggerating, she's being dramatic. But 3 people are already at the gift table. Picking up the folder. Reading the evidence. I walk out of Meadowbrook Country Club at 3:47 p.m. Navy blue dress. Head high. 212 witnesses left behind. And for the first time in 14 months, I feel free. That night, my phone exploded. "Uncle Richard. I confronted your father. He has no defense. I'm on your side. Grandma Rose, coming to see you tomorrow. You were so brave. Aunt Monica, we had no idea. Your mother is getting calls from everyone. Hannah, 17 missed calls. Finally a text. See, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Can we talk?" Then Mom's number. I blocked it immediately. Dad tried calling from Uncle Richard's phone. I didn't answer. By midnight, Priya was asleep on my couch. She refused to leave. "You're not alone tonight," she'd said. At 4 a.m., Grandma Rose texted. "Your mother called me crying. She says you're lying. I told her I saw the evidence. She hung up on me." By 9 a.m., 3 people from the party had shared photos of my evidence folder on family group chats. By noon, everyone knew. Mom's book club, Dad's law firm colleagues, their church friends. The truth was spreading faster than they could contain it. And I felt nothing but relief. 3 days after the engagement party, Uncle Richard took me to lunch. "Your father called me a traitor," he said, stirring his coffee. "Said I should have supported him, not you." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. What he did was inexcusable. I told him that." Uncle Richard looked at me seriously. "He's trying to spin this, telling people you're exaggerating, that you took things out of context." "I have receipts." "I know, I told him that too." The truth was, no criminal charges could be filed. Attorney Chen had been clear. Parents aren't legally required to support adult children financially. What they'd done was morally bankrupt, but not illegal. But I could protect myself going forward. Within a week, I filed for a restraining order. Not because they'd been violent, because they wouldn't stop calling. Mom had tried 17 times in 3 days. Dad had shown up at my apartment twice. Both times, Priya had been there and told them to leave. The third time, I called the police. The officer who responded was a woman in her 40s, Officer Martinez. I showed her the call logs, the Ring camera footage of Dad banging on my door at 11 p.m. "This is harassment," she said simply. "You can file for a restraining order." I did. The court date was set for 2 weeks later. I walked into the courthouse with Attorney Chen beside me. Mom and Dad sat across the aisle with their lawyer, a man in an expensive suit who looked bored. The hearing lasted 40 minutes. I presented my evidence, the harassment logs, the Ring footage, the context of why I'd gone no contact. Their lawyer argued it was a family disagreement and that my parents had a right to contact their daughter. Attorney Chen countered, "Ms. Reeves is a 24-year-old adult who has clearly communicated her wish for no contact. Her parents have repeatedly violated that boundary. This constitutes harassment under California law." The judge, a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes, reviewed the evidence. Then she looked at my parents. "Mr. and Mrs. Reeves, I've reviewed the documentation Ms. Sienna Reeves provided regarding the engagement party confrontation. While the financial decisions you made regarding your daughters are not illegal, they provide important context. Mom started to speak. The judge held up a hand. Your daughter has made it clear she does not wish to have contact with you. You do not have a legal right to force that contact. She signed the order. 3-year no contact restraining order. No phone calls, no texts, no emails, no physical proximity within 100 yards. Violation will result in arrest. Dad's face went white. Mom started crying. I felt nothing. Outside the courthouse, Attorney Chen shook my hand. You did the right thing, boundaries are healthy, enforcing them is necessary. Thank you. If they violate the order, call the police immediately. Don't hesitate. They violated it twice. Once, 2 weeks later, Mom sent an email from a new address I hadn't blocked yet. Subject, please Sienna. I forwarded it to Attorney Chen. She forwarded it to the court. Mom received a warning. The second time was worse. Dad showed up at my workplace, the environmental nonprofit, where I'd been working part-time during college and full-time since graduation. My boss called security. They escorted him out. I called the police. Dad was arrested. He spent 6 hours in holding before his lawyer posted bail. The judge added another year to the restraining order, 4 years total now. After that, they stopped trying. But the family fracture had already spread. Uncle Richard and Aunt Monica sided with me completely. They stopped speaking to Dad, their own brother. What he did to you is unforgivable, Uncle Richard said. He's not the man I thought he was. Grandma Rose was done with them too. I raised my son better than this, she told me over coffee one morning. I'm ashamed of him. 3 cousins, Marcus, Lily, and Dev, reached out, all supportive. Marcus, we always knew they favored Hannah. We just didn't realize how bad it was. Lily, I'm sorry we didn't notice. You deserved better. Dev, if you ever need anything, call me. We're family, real family. Hannah was in the middle. She called me 2 weeks after the engagement party, voice shaking. See, I confronted them. I showed them your evidence. They said you misunderstood, that they were planning to help you after the wedding. Do you believe them? Silence. No, she finally said. I looked at the dates, the amounts, the text messages you showed. They lied to you over and over. I'm sorry, Han. I didn't want to ruin your engagement. You didn't ruin anything. They did. She was crying. I told them I'm paying for my own wedding now. I don't want their money. You don't have to do that. Yes, I do. I can't accept money they denied you. She downsized everything. The venue, the catering, the dress. Her wedding budget went from $185,000 to $40,000. Most of it hers and her fiancé's savings. She still invited Mom and Dad. They were her parents too. But she invited me as well. Made it clear, if they caused a scene, they'd be removed. They behaved, barely spoke to anyone, left early. Hannah and I weren't close anymore. The damage was too deep. But we were cordial, we texted occasionally, had lunch every few months. It was something. On the other side, Mom's sister, Aunt Diane, stayed neutral, which meant she sided with them by default. It's not my place to judge, she'd said when I called her. They spent $178,000 on Hannah while I starved, and you won't judge. Family is complicated, Sienna. I hung up, blocked her number. By the first holiday season after the confrontation, the family structure had completely shifted. Thanksgiving, Grandma Rose hosted 2 separate dinners, 1 p.m. with me, Uncle Richard's family, and the supportive cousins, 6 p.m. with Mom, Dad, and Aunt Diane. Christmas, I was invited to Uncle Richard's. Mom and Dad weren't. They hosted their own Christmas dinner. 4 people attended, them, Aunt Diane, and 1 family friend who didn't know the full story. Their social consequences extended beyond family. Mom's book club dissolved. 4 of the 7 members quit after hearing what happened. The remaining 3 attended out of pity for a few months, then stopped. Dad's law firm didn't fire him. What he'd done wasn't illegal, but 3 colleagues stopped having lunch with him. His reputation took a hit. People talk, Uncle Richard told me. The story spread through their social circles. A lot of people are disgusted. Their country club membership remained active, but they stopped going. Too many members had been at the engagement party. Too many had seen the evidence. Hannah told me later, "Mom's depressed. She barely leaves the house. Dad's angry all the time. They blame you for ruining their lives." I felt a flicker of guilt. Then I remembered $178,400, $14 months, every time I'd asked for help. The guilt disappeared. It's been 3 years now. 3 years since the engagement party. 3 years since I walked out of Meadowbrook Country Club with my head high. I'm 27, and I'm thriving. Financially, I've rebuilt everything they let collapse. My student loans are down from $140,000 to $91,000. I've been paying $1,200 a month, double the minimum payment. At this rate, I'll be debt-free in 6 years. My credit score climbed from 680 to 748. I finally qualified for a decent credit card with rewards. I have a savings account now, $12,400, a 6-month emergency fund, something I never had in college. And last year I moved. A 1-bedroom apartment in Oakland, Bay Bridge view, hardwood floors, space that's entirely mine. I decorated it myself, no help, no strings attached, no debt owed to anyone. It feels like freedom. Career-wise, I'm the executive director of the environmental nonprofit I helped found in college. It's grown from 300 members to over 2,000. We've lobbied for 3 state bills, 2 passed. I'm making $78,000 a year. It's not rich, but it's stable, comfortable, mine. I published a second research paper last year. It's been cited 340 times. A professor from Berkeley reached out about a potential PhD program. I'm considering it. Last month, I was invited to give a TED Talk. The topic, Thriving After Family Betrayal. I accepted. And 2 weeks ago, Stanford gave me an alumni award, Resilience in Environmental Leadership. The ceremony was at the same amphitheater where I graduated, same venue where Mom announced Hannah's wedding fund. This time, the seats reserved for family were filled. Grandma Rose, Uncle Richard and Aunt Monica, Marcus, Lily, Dev, Priya. My real family. The people who chose me. Emotionally, I'm healing, slowly. I did therapy for 18 months. Weekly sessions with Dr. Park, a woman in her 50s who specialized in family trauma. "What your parents did was financial abuse," she'd told me in our first session. "Withholding resources while flaunting them elsewhere is a control tactic." It helped to numb it, to understand it wasn't my fault. I still have hard days. Days when I see parents celebrating their kids' graduations on social media and feel that familiar ache. Days when I wonder if I'm unlovable, if something about me made them choose Hannah every time. Dr. Park helped me work through that. "It's not about you," she'd said. "It's about them, their choices, their failures." I'm down to monthly therapy sessions now, maintenance, check-ins. Most days I feel light. Relationships have shifted entirely. Grandma Rose and I have coffee every week. She's 82 now, sharp as ever. "You're my hero," she told me last month. Standing up like that took courage. Uncle Richard taught me about investing. I have a small Roth IRA now. He checks in every week. Hannah and I have lunch every 2 or 3 months. Our relationship is cautious but genuine. She got married last year. Small ceremony, $15,000 budget, self-funded. I attended as a guest. It was beautiful. We don't talk about our parents. That's the boundary. But we're friendly. We're sisters, just not close anymore. Priya moved to New Haven for Yale Law School, but we FaceTime twice a week. She's still my best friend, the person who saw me at my lowest and didn't flinch. "I'm proud of you," she said recently. "Look how far you've come." As for Mom and Dad, we haven't spoken in 3 years. Not a single word since the courthouse restraining order hearing. The order expired 6 months ago. I didn't renew it. I don't need it anymore. They haven't tried to contact me. Hannah says they're still together, still living in the same house, still pretending everything is fine. "Mom asks about you sometimes," Hannah told me last month. "She says she misses you." I didn't respond. "She's never apologized, has she?" Hannah asked. "No." Hannah nodded. I didn't think so. Uncle Richard says Dad's quieter now. Smaller, he's aged visibly. He knows what he did, Uncle Richard said. He just can't admit it. I don't care if he admits it anymore. I used to fantasize about the apology. The moment they'd realize they were wrong, show up at my door, beg for forgiveness. I don't fantasize about it anymore. Because I don't need it. Their approval stopped mattering the day I saw those Venmo receipts. The day I realized they'd chosen Hannah over and over, and it was never about me. It was about them. Their selfishness, their favoritism, their failure. I've built a life without them. A good life. A life where I'm valued, celebrated, supported. I have my framed Stanford diploma on my wall. Right next to it, in a small frame, is that $25 Chipotle gift card. I kept it, not as a reminder of pain. As proof. Proof that I survived the people who should have celebrated me. Proof that I paid for my degree, that I earned every dollar, that they can't take that from me. And when I finally pay off that last student loan, and I will, I'm throwing a party. A big one. With everyone who actually showed up for me. Grandma Rose, Uncle Richard, Priya, my Stanford friends, my nonprofit team. My real family. The ones who chose me when my parents didn't. That's the ending I'm writing. Not reconciliation, not forgiveness. Freedom. If you've experienced family betrayal, financial abuse, or being overlooked by the people who were supposed to love you, know this. It's not your fault. Document everything, build your evidence, set your boundaries. And remember, the family you choose can heal what the family you're born into broke. You don't owe anyone access to you just because you share DNA. 3 years ago, I stood in front of 212 people and told the truth. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. And the most freeing. I'm Sienna, and this is Achiever Betrayed, where we tell the stories of those who succeeded despite the people who should have supported them.